Hello everyone and welcome to another Modswell load order. Today I'm going to be taking a look at my Vampire and Werebeast build. This has been a highly requested order, so I thought I would release it as early as I physically could. I have had ample time over the holidays to test, and so far so good. I have completed all of my stress tests as well as tested out the features of most of the main mods being used. But if you do run across any problems, please do let me know and I will try my best to help you fix it as soon as I physically can. Let's start off with the main point of the build, which is of course the beasts. I've done quite a lot here to ingrain the concept of both vamps and wolves. For the Werebeasts, I have opted for Growl. It is a tiny file in terms of data and it packs a massive punch. I have done a video on it before where I go into a lot more depth, but I will cover it a little bit here. Growl includes wolves and bears. How you get the curse doesn't require any allegiance with the companions, you merely have to come across them in the wilds, which happens at night with this mod installed. However, I have a few other mods increasing this population to make that even easier still. The perk tree of the Werebeast had been fully upgraded in typical NA style, with abilities that make you far more powerful. Some of these actually spill into your human form and increase things like movement speed, regeneration and physical strength, which personally I like as it feels accurate to how you would be as a werewolf. The variance in playstyle has also been increased, with different hows being available to you and swappable should you choose. These include abilities to summon wolves or bears that perform different tasks in combat. There are also some quality of life changes too, such as turning faster, healing on eating and being able to loot whilst in beast form. Growl has always been my top round pick for these kind of edits. There is so much going on in a file under 1 MB. Mods like Moonlight Tales definitely contain more edits such as small missions and different styled wolves, but I still opt for Growl nearly every time. However, I have left the megabytes available to choose whichever you would prefer. One place where Moonlight Tales wins over Growl is the textures used, as Growl avoids doing this. However, I had another theme in mind with this order, so I went for Underworld werewolf textures, which I wouldn't have done if I were using Moonlight instead. I will cover that theme a little later on though. When it came to vampires, I actually chose to use a mix of mods to get the best out of them. This is largely because the main theme I was asked for was a vampire order. I just wanted to do that a little bit more. The first mod I'm using is one to make the vampires feel stronger overall, known as Vampirium. Whilst this mod does have a ton going for it, I'm covering up some of the main features and taking the smaller aspects to change the quality of life. Essentially, the edits which make being a vampire less of a chore. For example, the sun's effects will still be somewhat devastating, but more manageable. And when it comes to bloodlust, I am able to carry on without being totally rehabilitated. In fact, whilst I'm more vulnerable, in some ways I'm more powerful. My strength increases, as does my ferocity. This is fairly accurate to a hungered beast, willing to do whatever it takes to get their next meal. I'm covering up some of the main features of Vampirium with better vampires. I absolutely love this mod, as it's somewhat more held back than Vampirium is. The power is most definitely there, but it feels like it's there for your enemies too. Better Vampires is a highly customizable mod, so you can take advantage of that to build vampires the way that you would like to see them. Edits to things like how your blood hunger works, how progression as a vampire is done too. Beyond this, you'll find the scaling with this mod is far better than the others. Your perks become stronger as you do, and don't dwindle by the time you're over level 40 to something that you'll never even care about. Another cool feature of this mod is the ability to add spells from Sacrosanct using another patch mod. This basically changes vampires entirely to a new beast. As all of this affects the other vampires you come across, I saw it as a fun concept to add more of them in. So I threw in a few population increases, which I will talk about in a moment, as well as the mod Better Vampire NPCs. This improves on not only the generic but most named vampire NPCs as well. It changes the base levels of the vampires dependent on your own. It also has them at different ranks, fighting with different abilities and AI to make each of those engagements actually engaging. It has left out some of the more important NPCs though, such as Serana and Harkon. Luckily, they have a ton of mods dedicated to them, especially Serana, who seems to be a fan favourite. When it comes to the vampire textures, I opted for a more bat-like aesthetic using Grimoire's Vampire Lord and bigger vampire wings. I was tempted to throw in flying vampire lords too, but I avoided it because of conflicts with other mods I really enjoy using. But if you plan on being the bat, it may suit your needs. But I do actually have one more trick hidden up my sleeves. When it comes to both vampires and werebeasts, what if you wanted to be both? Well, I have made that option available to you as well, using True Hybrid Tainted Blood of the Dragonborn. This is a fantastic mod with a bunch of options available. It also has compatibility with a bunch of leash mods as well, which I may mess around with at a later date. True Hybrid allows you to pick up both curses through the course of natural gameplay. However, it also allows you to just use the power at the start to begin your journey into Beast gameplay. It is a really simple plug in and play mod with patches available for certain edits such as Growl. Do remember, this is going to give you the intrinsic boosts of both factions, so you will be quite powerful, but in my opinion, it wouldn't be a true build of this style without the option being there. If you'd like to see a video on this mod, then please do let me know in the comment section. I mentioned earlier that I had a somewhat Underworld theme going on. To do this, I've used pretty much all of the set for Underworld mods. This includes mods like Vampires Attack Settlements, so you may want to make your vendors essential. I also have mods changing the battle between the companions and the Silver Hand to a werewolf versus vampire mission. This is not lore friendly, so you may want to remove that mod if you don't like that kind of edit, but for a straight up vampire and werewolf build, I actually found it necessary. There are other fun mods you could use in its place to expand upon the companion's mission without making the Silver Hand so against what they stand for. I also happen to be using Underworld Civil War. Again, this turns the Stormcloaks into Werebeasts and the Imperials into vampires. Not lore friendly at all, but it is really fun. It makes the actual war missions feel so much better, as there is a lot of randomness to combat. When you're beating a Stormcloak and out of nowhere you're tossed aside by a giant werewolf, there's just something amusing in that to me. Beyond this, I've also used a few small mods to ensure there are more vamps and wolves wandering the world for you to come across. I wasn't sure if I was adding in too much in this regard, but I have made it so if you aren't into some of these mods, dropping them won't hurt the overall theme of the order. Merely turn it into something you'd rather see. I guess the curses should be rarer, and that kind of isn't the case with a lot of these mods. Somewhere between this and vanilla would be far smarter, just maybe a little bit less fun. When it came to the world space, I haven't actually made many edits beyond textures. There are a few more things out there such as shrines from Wintersun which I thought would be fitting for the build, but overall it was the small details I wanted to change for a better looking game. To achieve the look I wanted, I used a bunch of mods I had before, like Skyland for its huge amount of coverage, but the real changes I've made for the aesthetic of the world is All Dead Trees by Skyfall. I absolutely adore this tree setup and I will use it again in the future. Simply and rather obviously put, the trees come in many different styles. Some are fully dead, others healthy, and basically everywhere in between. The textures themselves lend themselves to the concept within the order, but I would argue fit many other styles. They genuinely look great and are pretty much up there for the best performance too. I also chose to use the grass mod I haven't done before, which is Cathedral Grass's standalone, specifically the closest port of it. I'd say the performance of this is second to none, which is surprising when you consider how dense it is and how good the textures are. This mod is likely to become my go-to for grasses, so I can keep those friendly frames. My favourite is still likely the grasses your mother warned about, however, this is 10 to 15 FPS better, easily. Seriously buttery smooth. Weather is also a huge factor in a build like this. I wanted to balance the game to be roughly 70% dreary and 30% decent weather. I chose Mythical Ages and Supreme Rainstorms to achieve that look. I then improved the textures of the clouds with natural clouds, the sun with LH Sun, and the fogs with volumetric mists. The look I have achieved is also being helped out by the Lux mods for lighting, including Obis for the exterior. The whole setup is pretty expensive and does use up quite a few mod slots, but this has been one of my favourites overall for lighting. It hit exactly the mark I was going for. I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to make this darker or drearier should you choose. The reason I chose to add in the sunny weathers as opposed to all dark is because I wanted a more realistic setup. I also wanted to take advantage of the different weathers in different ways with the beasts. Knowing full well the vampires don't like the sun, having none of it would have made them too strong. It would also have made the entire vampire quest in Dawnguard pointless, which I just didn't want to happen. Overall, this is a feature-rich load order. I tried my best to hit every aspect people may want to see. AI edits, world edits, more combat, better combat, and importantly, more missions to play that are pertinent to the build. I would be tempted to add Worm's Tooth as well due to the undead nature surrounding the story, which would fit in really well. My intent was to make the order that you could play in your own way. If you wanted to be a vamp, wolf or both, or even none, those are your options. In fact, I threw in Stendarr Rising specifically for the latter so you could have a base of operations to dwindle the beast population. I am really happy with how this build went, but I would like to know what mods you'd add in, take out, and basically what you'd change. And for any assistance with those changes, please feel free to leave a comment and I will get to you as soon as I can. I think I would possibly return to this order in the future and add things like new beast styled spawns, likely a few Mahale mods to improve on the variance of combat. I would also consider spending more time improving the Dawnguard questline and characters. I figured that for this version of the order it wasn't necessary simply because I wanted new beast situations, not somewhat improved old ones. But on that I am going to call it. For more videos like this, remember to subscribe to the channel. For any extra assistance, check the links in the description. You'll find not only this order, but all the other ones I've done, as well as links to my Discord and the Skyrim Xbox Mod subreddit, where I'm often around trying to help out. If this has been helpful, I would really appreciate those likes, comments, and of course subscriptions like I've already mentioned. They help push my work out further with YouTube's algorithm. I also have a donations page linked in the description, but zero pressure on that at all. Either way, thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.